As our guest this evening, we have the most eminent visitor Newcastle has seen in many a year, His Grace, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Dr. Michael Ramsey. Welcome to Newcastle, sir. In Australia, you've commented frequently on your interest, and Australia's interest, in church unity. Is this one of the prime reasons for your visit?
The prime reason for my visit is to visit the country and to visit the Anglican Church in Australia and to share in its interests and encourage them. And I find that the concern for church unity is here already very strong, so I do my best to help it and strengthen it.
From the remarks you've made, I might gather that the interest in unity here is perhaps greater than in England.
I think that in general the interest in Australia is greater than in England. I think on the one hand that's true. On the other hand, there are certain elements in Australia, in Australian religious life, that are very narrow indeed in matters of church unity. That must be said frankly.
What about unity within your own church? Are you
well, of course,
encouraging?
I'm very concerned about that. The Anglican Communion has an ecumenical movement within itself, because as you know, we contain High Church and Broad Church and Evangelical, and it's very important that we Anglicans, if we are to contribute to wider unity, must seek unity and understanding within ourselves. And it's the business of High Church and Broad Church and Evangelicals to be learning from one another, not digging themselves into partisan systems, and in particular a diocese, an Anglican diocese, ought to reflect all the varieties of churchmanship, learning from one another and growing together to maturity.
Then you encourage the varieties as such, as long as they're not...
I encourage the varieties to exist and to learn from one another and to find synthesis between themselves.
What about the question of understanding, appreciation, perhaps cooperation with the non-Christian world?
Well, I think it's important that we Christians should recognize that there is truth in the world's great religions, say Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism. There is divine truth in all of them, I would say, though incomplete truth. And as Christian missionaries, we ought, on the one hand, to acknowledge the elements of truth in the other religions and to reverence them for the truth that they contain, but at the same time to insist that there is about Christianity something absolutely unique about Jesus Christ as the fulfillment of all truth and all religions.
It's been reported in newspapers frequently, Archbishop, that the influence of the church is waning. Do you believe this?
Well, I would say that the Christianity as an influence in our countries is less now than it was some decades ago. There's certainly been something of a decline, but I would not agree that the influence is waning, because I see many signs of strength and power of recovery both in Australia and in England.
You yourself advocate church action in the industrial field. What do you think the church should do here?
I think that in particular the work of industrial chaplains representing the church and Christianity right inside the industries themselves is very important, but the only cure is Christian people influencing Christian people to that Christian way of respect for persons, unselfishness, care for personality, and concern for the common good. It's the breakdown in those things that causes industrial strife.
What about politics? The church in politics?
I think that it's wrong for the clergy to identify themselves with particular political parties, but I think it's right for the church as a whole to proclaim Christian principles where they exist absolutely clearly about politics. For instance, I think we ought to say that apartheid is always wrong and that partnership between races is right. I think we ought to say that peace is right, though we may differ conscientiously about the practical matters of disarmament.
Politics is often a part of the industrial scene as well, and this is where the church is likely to involve itself again if it enters the industrial field. You believe that the church's stand there is exactly the same as it is on political matters?
I would say that the church's stand in industrial matters is rather similar to the stand it has to make in racial matters.
Now, you've said you've enjoyed this visit of Australia so far. Is it likely to be the first of many by yourself or other church dignitaries?
Well, for my own part, I've no doubt there are other parts of the world that I must visit and want to visit, where there are churches of our Anglican communion, but I shall be very disappointed if I don't come to Australia again before I die, because I have so greatly loved the fascination of the country and have a great longing to see more of it.
Well, before we say goodbye to your visit to Newcastle on this occasion, is there something you would like to say to the people of the city?
I would like to use again a quotation that I used in the delightful welcome which the mayor and the citizens of Newcastle gave to me. It's a quotation from Dr. Johnson: "Keep your friendships in repair. Keep in repair all reconciling relations within the city, beyond the city, and between our two countries and all countries. Keep your friendships in repair, but above all there is the friendship between man and God, and let every man who claims to be a Christian see to it that that friendship with God, which God of his goodness allows him to enjoy, shall be kept in repair by prayer, by reading of the Bible, by sacrament, and by that real fellowship between man and God. It is in fellowship, in man's fellowship with God, that his service of mankind has its root." Good night.